Good morning. Welcome to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. As you see there, that is live from Arlington National Cemetery. It is Veterans Day in America. And without our great United States military, of course, we would not have a nation. We would not have our freedoms. To all of our great military veterans and active service members out there, thank you for your service to this country. At 10:35 this morning, the president will depart the White House and head to Arlington National Cemetery for a Veterans Day ceremony. And then at 11 a.m., the president will participate in a wreath-laying ceremony there and will deliver remarks following that. Earlier, the Veterans Affairs Secretary, Doug Collins, actually posted a video all about today, Veterans Day. Let's take a look. Once again, thanks so much for joining us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. You're seeing the soldier there at Arlington National Cemetery. Of course, the president will be there in just a bit. And, you know, over the weekend at Freedom Fest, I got to thank a Army Staff Sergeant, and he's a Medal of Honor recipient, Melvin Harris, at Freedom Fest for his service. So he was an Army Staff Sergeant that in the line of fire, went to save fallen soldiers, leaving no man behind. We do have a photo of that of over the weekend, so you could see him there. So it was great to meet him and talk to him here in Alabama. And also, we'll get to more of that story in just a second. A wounded warrior, Joshua Wetzel, served as a sergeant in the United States Army. And so we have that video as well. Got to meet him along with my family, and it was great to be around people that, you know, served our country. And this guy served so much that he lost his legs in battle. Let's look at the story.
So I served with the 2nd Infantry Division in the Army. We deployed to Mushan, Afghanistan in 2012, March of 2012. And our main threat was improvised explosive devices everywhere we went. So every patrol we went on, we were just like ducks in a row behind a metal detector. And contrary to popular belief, I was pretty good at finding them. But on May the 31st of 2012, I stepped on an IED. It was our first non-metallic IED in the area, and I didn't have the equipment to be able to find it. And so instantly lost both of my legs. I can remember flying through the air, landing on the ground. I pretty much knew what happened. I had watched another guy do it the day before, and so I knew, you know, at that moment my legs were gone. And, yeah.
And then how have you stayed strong since then? What has been your rock to keep on keeping on?
Yeah, so I'm a pretty stubborn guy, you know. I haven't really ever had a healthy fear of anything. So in that moment, I never really even feared dying. And I come from a military family. My father served in Desert Storm. I had 6 uncles that served in the military in some capacity. And so competitiveness was always, you know, in my blood. And you know, right off the bat when I got injured, like my medic was all worried about everything. He's one of my best friends, and you know, I told him like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna get some of those cool running blades that, you know, they've got now, and I have those. They're just in my attic, you know. But I, you know, for me, like my family was huge. You know, the day first time I saw my wife at Walter Reed Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland, you know, I was upset, and you know, she asked me why I was crying, and I was like, well, I mean, I lost to me was like, we know where they're at. We're just not gonna go back and get them, you know? And so that kind of set the tone for me, like everything's gonna be okay. And my family rallied around me, and it was just, you know, a huge family thing. And so that helped me kind of get through things pretty easily.
So again, that was at Freedom Fest here in Alabama over the weekend. Meeting someone that was a Medal of Honor recipient, meeting a wounded warrior, meeting military recruiters and others. When we talk about Veterans Day, and we always say thank you for your service, but this is something that without our military, of course, as I started the broadcast, we literally wouldn't have a country and we wouldn't have our freedoms. And think about the mere presence of our military is what is our Department of War or our defense to anyone trying to take over this land. We have a massive, great, high-tech military. So, every year we know November 11th, it's Veterans Day. We know there's the parades. We know about all of that. But just in life and through experiences, sometimes there's a little bit more awareness, right? You can always say, okay, thank you for the veterans. They help protect our country. But to go a little bit deeper than that, at least I am, this time around, because last November 11th, I would say the same thing in the sense of thank you to our veterans. But you think about it, and with the whole thing of the 250 years of our nation coming up on July 4th of 2026, and you think about the military back when George Washington led the United States Army, we wouldn't have a country if we didn't have a military. And again, the mere presence of them, it is just awesome. So to all of our veterans, our active service members, we need you guys, and thank you so much for what you do. And we wouldn't have anything here without you, so thank you so much. And today, of course, we're going to see the president there at Arlington National Cemetery. And, out west in UC Berkeley yesterday, we saw a number of Antifa that were outside the last tvOS event of the year for the campus tour for This Is the Turning Point. We're going to get to a video in just a second from the great conservative actor and comedian Rob Schneider talking about Veterans Day as well. We'll get to that in just a second. Let's go to some of our great sponsors here on this Veterans Day as we honor the men and women who risked everything to protect our freedom, including the freedom to make your own choices about your health. Isn't that the truth? Our great sponsor, All Family Pharmacy, has a special promotion for all of our viewers. So right now, they're giving you 25% off site-wide with code RSBN25 through Wednesday. And that's, of course, tomorrow, the 12th. Get the medications your family needs. They offer more than 300 trusted prescriptions and supplements, all reviewed by a licensed doctor. And there's licensed doctors throughout the country that review this. And they'll get that shipped directly to your door. So there's more. When you order from their supplement line, Operation Wellness, part of every purchase is donated to Children of Fallen Patriots, helping fund education for the children of our fallen heroes. So to take care of your family and give back to theirs, don't miss this Veterans Day offer. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN and use that code you see right there, RSBN 25, to save 25% off. Again, this will be going through tomorrow here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Also, Monetary Gold is another great sponsor here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Every major financial disaster begins with a few simple facts that unfortunately a lot of people ignore. So in 2007, it was the overextended credit, reckless lending, and misplaced faith that everything will hold. Then it didn't. Banks failed, savings vanished, retirements were cut in half. So the lesson was painful and unforgettable. So today, those same indicators, unfortunately, are returning. Auto loan defaults are rising. Commercial real estate is strained. Private credit has grown far beyond its limits. And now even Jamie Dimon, a man who understands money better than most, is warning that when you see one problem in the system, there are always others hiding behind it. So these aren't theories, they're patterns. And patterns repeat when people refuse to act. So for more than 25 years, Monetary Gold has guided Americans through every economic storm with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. And one constant truth, real value endures when paper confidence fades. So you can study the evidence, act on reason, give them a call, 888-617-7994, or visit rsbnforthegold.com today to learn how owning tangible gold and silver can anchor your savings before the next shock arrives. Let's also go to kalshi.com/RSBN. A ton of different topics to bet, trade, or check out polls on there with kalshi.com/RSBN. Of course, you have the QR code there as well, and you can download the app. There's more than 1 million people, and this number is growing with Kalshi. I mean, it's a site that a lot of people are referencing for a lot of different topics out there. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just try it out. Go to kalshi.com/RSBN. 3 great sponsors here on Right Side. We'll get to some more in just a bit. Meantime, it is 9:46. Again, those of you just joining us, of course, it's Veterans Day in America, and we'll know that the president at 10:35 Eastern Time will depart the White House, head to where you see right there, Arlington National Cemetery. This will be for a Veterans Day ceremony. At 11 a.m., the president will participate in a wreath-laying ceremony and will deliver remarks following that. So we'll be airing that in its entirety here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. In the meantime, let's go to UC Berkeley. Yes, if you saw on X yesterday or on Truth Social, you saw a lot of situations outside of this TPUSA event. When it was this is the turning point, of course, the last campus tour for the year. And a few of the paid protesters and a few of the Antifa types showed up, and Savannah Hernandez and others out there doing great coverage to see what it looked like. But at the end of the day, what we saw on the inside were a lot more people on the right side of history, not brainwashed, not indoctrinated, but cheering on the late, great Charlie Kirk. Rob Schneider, the great conservative comedian, was there as well. He spoke about Veterans Day. Let's take a listen just within that 24/7 news cycle.
Yes. Hi, I have a question for all 4 of you. In America, and I assume so in England, we have a problem with veterans and homelessness and mental illness. What are we doing as a society to help them? On the left, I see disrespect towards veterans in our culture where men can't talk and talk about their feelings as our military is majorly men. But on the right, we make, and abortion is a big issue, and I disagree with abortion in general, but what are we doing to keep the people that are already here, that have fought for our freedoms here and on this earth?
Well, we have to take care of our veterans, otherwise this country's soul will rot. We need to take care of people who are protecting this country. So that we're doing better. This administration specifically is doing better, but we have to help. I mean, there used to be in World War I, there's a thing called shell shock, and then it was like, now it's down to post-traumatic stress syndrome. These are really tough things that these people come back from what they've had to endure. These are your neighbors. And I would just like to say this too, slight off subject. We need to figure out a way to include everybody to do what they can do for this country, not what this country can do for you. We need to put in a voluntary system of university students, and we need 2 years of your life. Dedicated. You want to do the military, you want to serve overseas, you want to help people. We need you to do that. We can't just have a group of people that's selective service and then just send people over. Everybody. So when there is a conflict internationally, everyone's son and daughter is potentially going to be sent there. And that will make us all think twice about some other war that we don't want to get tangled in. Thank you.
As I want to mention one thing as a veteran, and that is every country has to have both a force that will protect them from evil outside the country. That's what the military is about. And a force that will protect people from evil inside the country. That's the essential primary purpose of government, to protect innocent people from evil and punish wrongdoers. Biblically, that's Romans 13. James Madison, who wrote our Constitution, said if men were angels, no government would be necessary. We need a government, and a good government, to protect innocent people from evil. Here's my question to you. I don't know the answer to it. We have limited resources in this country to take care of people. Are we spending more money on people who shouldn't be here than we are on our own veterans?
Yeah, like gender reaffirming care.
Well, not just that. I'm talking about illegal immigration
in this state. Now,
so that shouldn't be. Every country should take care of their own first. Yeah. That's why we have countries. That's why God set up borders.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, Peter?
Yeah, I have a very quick book recommendation by Michael Schellenberger, as it's appropriate, called San Francisco. And he lays out, if you haven't read it, it's a phenomenal book. It's evidence-based, and he talks about homelessness and drug addiction. And one of the things he talks about is a principle, shelter first, housing earned. So you have to incentivize sobriety. But if you want a point of contact to read about evidence-based solutions, that's my recommendation.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate
If
your
I
time.
can ask, I want Peter, if you could talk to us about, because he has a beautiful system. I want you to think about this, how to have difficult conversations. And it really was, because you're going to have difficult conversations with the people outside here who are still waiting for us to leave. How are we going to have difficult conversations, Peter? And how do we handle it?
Yeah,
Seriously.
thanks. So I'm preparing myself for the onslaught of booze I'm about to get for this, but in 2013, I wrote a book, A Manual for Creating Atheists. Oh, wow. Okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. And I walked backstage here, and I walked in to I don't know, my new friend Frank, who wrote, I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. And Frank came immediately over to me and shook my hand and said, Peter, it is so nice to meet you.
So yesterday at tvOS at UC Berkeley, of course, the great comedian and actor prior to the gentleman speaking there, Rob Schneider, speaking about Veterans Day. As you see, the cameras are already up and live there at Arlington National Cemetery. We'll see our commander-in-chief there in just a bit. The president expected to leave around 10:35 this morning. We'll have his speech and the wreath-laying ceremony live right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. If you're just joining us, we'll be going through a number of the most recent videos when it comes to Veterans Day. And of course, as I mentioned, without our great United States military, we wouldn't have a nation, we wouldn't have our freedoms. And the mere presence, I thought about this on the way in, I'm like, just the mere presence of our military means we can't just, lose our country to some other country coming through and taking over. We just can't. Now, the only way that would happen, and even some of our founding fathers said the same thing, is from within we could lose our country. But we're not trying to do that. As you guys know, we have a lot of winning to do, especially over the next 3+ years here in this country, and hopefully beyond that with the next administration, hopefully on the right side of history. In the meantime, let's go to angelpace.com. Out of Spring, Texas. Speaking of the military, they hire military veterans, so always good to do that, and always good to have products that are made right here in the United States of America. If you'd like to help out with small businesses across the country, go ahead and purchase products that you see here on Right Side. And on top of that, I'd even get to tell you about the product. You know what I mean? The products are great too. So just go to angelpace.com. You see there the Miracle Cream. There's other products on angelpace.com that you can go to. A longtime sponsor here at Right Side, a supporter of RSBN in the sense of, what we stand for. Things like this, freedom. I brought in my freedom hat today, and I have a freedom t-shirt. I'll show that to you in a minute. But let's also go to covepure.com/RSBN. So, obviously tap water is no fun. And to be honest, this in here is not tap water. This is just straight up filtered water, and it tastes really good, and there's no aftertaste, and it's 99.9% of the junk that's in water, in tap water, is taken out. So you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So you have the opportunity there to, go cold, warm, or hot when it comes to the water there. But also, again, taking 99.9% of the chemicals or any kind of stuff that's in that water in those pipes that come out the tap. Well, drink pure, live pure, covepure.com/RSBN. And for a limited time, you will get $200 off that great product right there. Great sponsor, great product on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's go to mypillow.com as well. I'm not going to show you the pillow that I sleep with, but I'll tell you what, there's a pillow, and it's my pillow. So also a few other ones in there, but definitely, anyway, mypillow.com/RSBN. Go to that website there, and you can get a percentage off as well. So there's a lot of different products there that you have with mypillow.com. I noticed what I just said right now. It's kind of funny now that I think of what I said, but it is what it is. All right, mypillow.com, the great Mike Lindell, awesome products. Go ahead and purchase some. And on top of that, Christmas is kind kind of around the corner. So why not get kickstarted on that? All right, so it is 9:55 Tuesday, November 11th. Thanks again for joining us. This is Veterans Day in America. Let's go back to one of the videos we played from the top of the broadcast. Of course, that was with the Veterans Affairs Secretary, Doug Collins, who posted the following video. All right, so we're approaching the top of the hour on this Veterans Day. We're going to go through a number of recent photos or videos that we have here at the network from over the weekend. I was at Freedom Fest in Alabama. My family and I, we said, you know what, let's go check this out. And to be honest, I didn't know there was a Freedom Fest in the one town here in Alabama. We had to go to a different bank because the one bank was closed. The other branch was open in the other town. So we go there and we run into Freedom Fest. So let's look at a few things here. First, the Army Staff Sergeant and Medal of Honor recipient, Melvin Harris, was there. Got to meet him and speak with him. A great person. Think about it, a Medal of Honor recipient. He was a U.S. Army Staff Sergeant. He went into the line of fire and saved soldiers. He was not leaving anybody behind. And then I met his son as well, so it was great to meet them. Also met a wounded warrior, Joshua Wetzel. He served as a sergeant in the United States Army. We'll get to that video in just a second. In the meantime, of course, this is all about, and I know this is almost a free plug, but I'm not trying to plug Under Armour, but still, I mean, a lot of us have these kind of freedom t-shirts out there. I wore this one today to work. Wore this freedom hat. You know, we all have, you know, patriotic gear, regardless of like where it's from. And it's because we love our country, you know, and that's what we're protecting here. That's what we're doing what we do it for. It's for God, family, country, and freedom. So we know that today we'll see the president. We'll see him there with the laying of the wreath ceremony. And then, of course, there'll be some remarks from the president as well. That's going to happen at about 11 this morning. So at 10:35, though, Eastern time, the president will depart from the White House and head over to Arlington National Cemetery. So I believe that'll be obviously not Marine One. He won't need Air Force One for that trip. It'll be the motorcade, of course, in the Beast. So we may see the president. There may be some other cameras lined up watching the president come in. If so, we'll have those live pictures, but we'll definitely have, obviously, already a live picture there from Arlington National Cemetery today. In the meantime, let's go over a couple news items just quickly. The continuing resolution to fund the government, of course, has passed the Senate. Next up, the legislation goes to the House. Once it passes there, hopefully this is all quick, right? The president then will sign it into law, and the government will once again be fully funded. So we're watching all of that over the next 24 to 48 hours. Recently, also, November 2nd through the 8th, is a week that I think, you know, the White House talked about this, but I didn't get a chance to see it until just yesterday as I saw a post from Carolyn Levitt. Recently, our nation observed Anti-Communism Week, a solemn remembrance of the devastation caused by one of history's most destructive ideologies. Across continents and generations, communism, as you know, has wrought devastation upon nations and souls. More than 100 million lives have been taken by regimes that sought to erase faith, suppress freedom, and destroy prosperity earned through hard work, violating the God-given rights and dignity of those they oppressed. As we honor their memory, we renew our national promise to stand firm against communism, to uphold the cause of liberty and human worth, and to affirm once more that no system of government can ever replace the will and conscience of a free people. Reading there a quote directly from the White House, so you can go ahead and check that out if you'd like as well. That's from a proclamation from the 47th Commander-in-Chief, Donald J. Trump, who we'll see in just a bit right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. All right, it is 10 a.m. Thanks so much for joining us on Right Side. I'm Matthew Alvarez. It's RSBN Live, and of course, it's Veterans Day in America. Let's go back to a video from earlier. A wounded warrior, Joshua Wetzel, he served as a sergeant in the United States Army. Caught up with him over the weekend at Freedom Fest in Alabama. Let's take a look.
So I served with the 2nd Infantry Division in the Army. We deployed to Mushan, Afghanistan in 2012, March of 2012. Our main threat was improvised explosive devices everywhere we went. So every patrol we went on, we were just like ducks in a row behind a metal detector. And contrary to popular belief, I was pretty good at finding them. But on May the 31st of 2012, I stepped on an IED. It was our first non-metallic IED in the area, and I didn't have the equipment to be able to find it. And so instantly lost both of my legs. I can remember flying through the air, landing on the ground. I pretty much knew what happened. I had watched another guy do it the day before, and so I knew, at that moment my legs were gone. And, yeah.
And then how have you stayed strong since then? What has been your rock to keep it on?
Yeah, so I'm a pretty stubborn guy, I haven't really ever had a healthy fear of anything. So in that moment, I never really even feared dying. I come from a military family. My father served in Desert Storm. I had 6 uncles that served in the military in some capacity. And so competitiveness was always, in my blood. And, right off the bat when I got injured, like my medic was all worried about everything. He was one of my best friends, and I told him like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna get some of those cool running blades that they've got now, and I have those. They're just in my attic, but I for me, like, my family was huge. The day first time I saw my wife at Walter Reed Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland, I was upset, and she asked me why I was crying, and I was like, well, I lost my legs in Afghanistan, and her first words to me was like, we know where they're at, we're just not going to go back and get them, and so that kind of set the tone for me, like everything's going to be okay. And my family rallied around me, and it was just a huge family thing, and so that helped me kind of get through things pretty easily.
You can only thank people that do what they do for our country like that. Again, I'll say it, I'll repeat this one all day if I have to, because I thought about it, and it's not something about a lecture. It's just, for me, this is what I was thinking about, earlier today. I was like, just the mere presence of our military means we're protected from another country trying to come and storm our shores. Our military, the peace through strength aspect of it is awesome. And then secondly, our country wouldn't even exist without a military, obviously. So just deeply grateful, of course, for all of our veterans out there that do what they do. You think about, hey, we're all about law and order, right? We're like, yeah, pro police and pro, the first responders out there doing what they do, and pro National Guard and Customs Border Protection, pro United States military. Come on now, right? All right, let's go there live and see if there's any just audio we can listen in on, as it's 10:04 Eastern time.
And order. Remain as directed. Order. Acknowledge. Right. Hey. Albert! Out! Out! Hey! Hey! On! Ouch! On! Out! All up!
Okay, so at about 10:35 Eastern time, 7:35 out there on the West Coast. Thanks so much for tuning in wherever you're live streaming in from across America on this Veterans Day. President Trump will depart the White House, head right there to Arlington National Cemetery. He'll participate in a wreath-laying ceremony, and then he will also deliver remarks. So we'll have that here for you on Right Side. In the meantime, again, 10:07 Tuesday, November 11th. Let's go to some of our great sponsors here. This Veterans Day, obviously we're honoring the men and women who risked everything to protect our freedom, including the freedom to make your own choices about your health. Our great sponsor, All Family Pharmacy, has a special promotion that you see right there on your screen. Right now, they're giving you 25% off site-wide with code RSBN25 through tomorrow, the 12th. Get the medications your family needs. They offer more than 300 trusted prescription medications and supplements, all reviewed by licensed doctors and shipped straight to your door. So there's more. When you order from their supplement line, Operation Wellness, part of every purchase is donated to Children of Fallen Patriots, helping fund education for the children of our fallen heroes. Take care of your family and give back to theirs. Don't miss this Veterans Day offer. So just go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN and use that RSBN 25 promo code before tomorrow. Actually goes through tomorrow, the sale. So you see there on the screen, ends 11/12. Let's also go to Monetary Gold. Every major financial disaster begins with a few simple facts that unfortunately most people ignore. In 2007, it was overextended credit, reckless lending, and misplaced faith that, quote unquote, everything will hold. Then it didn't. Banks failed, savings vanished, retirements were cut in half. The lesson was painful and unforgettable. But today, those same indicators are returning. So auto loan defaults, unfortunately, are rising. Commercial real estate is strained, and private credit has grown far beyond its limits. And now even Jamie Dimon, a man who understands money better than most, is warning that when you see one problem in the system, there are always others hiding behind it. There are not theories here. These are patterns, and patterns repeat when people refuse to act. So for more than 25 years, we know that Monetary Gold has guided Americans through every economic storm with this A+ Better Business Bureau rating. And one constant truth, of course, real value endures when paper confidence fades. So you could study the evidence, act on reason. You can call 888-617-7994 or go to rsbnforthegold.com today to learn how owning tangible gold and silver can anchor your savings before the next shock arrives. If you'd like to donate to Right Side Broadcasting Network, all you have to do is text RSBN to 801-801. Also, rsbnetwork.com/donate. That's the place to go to get everything taken care of when it comes to donating to Right Side. A lot of great sponsors, a lot of great donors to the network as we continue to grow and expand here at RSBN. It's 10:10. We see there at the Arlington National Cemetery. If you've ever been there, quite the somber experience there. But out of the respect for our fallen military service members, and also today, of course, our veterans that we are honoring, saying thank you for your service. But outside of just saying thank you for your service, we literally would not have a country if it wasn't for them. We wouldn't have our freedoms if it wasn't for them. their mere presence, that United States military, all 6 branches, you know, thank God for our military, our active service members, those that have served. Let's go now to a number of videos from the United States military. Let's take a look.
Capitol Guardians, and members of Joint Task Force District of Columbia. Veterans understand better than anyone freedom isn't free, but it is worth fighting for. I'm Brigadier General Leland Blanchard, Commanding General of the D.C. National Guard. As our nation observes Veterans Day 2025, I'm asking each of you to take a moment to honor all who have sworn an oath to protect and defend our freedoms. From the battlefields of past wars and conflicts to the missions of today, history has provided us with extraordinary examples of selfless deeds. We also know that each veteran has sacrificed and done so with a full heart. From defending our nation in times of war to responding to emergencies and natural disasters, we stand on the shoulders of those who have served before us. Today is a reminder to all of us, a call to action. The legacy we honor today lives on in each of us who continue to serve, upholding the same values of duty, honor, and commitment that have defined generations of American warriors. Now, the National Guard's strength lies in its people, and your continued service ensures that both nation and district remain secure and the ideals our veterans have fought to preserve endure for generations to come. Protect the Capitol, defend the nation.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Sergeant First Class Mims, Task Force Thunder, 130th Field Artillery Brigade. Just want to say what's up to everybody back in Kansas City. Wish I was there with you guys to throw those watch parties, but hey, it is what it is. Hey, Chiefs, go out there, get a good win. And remember, you got to fight for the right to party.
Hey, my name is Sean First Class Thomas, Task Force Thunder, Air John, Kuwait. I want to wish all my fellow veterans a happy Veterans Day. And to my family and friends, I love you, and I can't wait to get home to see you.
Hello, I'm Admiral Bill Houston, Director of the Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program. Today on Veterans Day, we pause to honor America's greatest living heroes, our veterans, who have served our nation with unwavering dedication and courage. The peace and security we enjoy today are built on the sacrifices of generations before us, heroes who stood firm in the times of conflict so that freedom could endure. Their legacy reminds us that true peace is sustained not by the absence of power, but by the strength that deters aggression and safeguards our way of life. Our Navy's nuclear-powered fleet stands as a testament to that strength, an unparalleled force that provides presence, ensures global stability, and powers maritime dominance. The Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program embodies the spirit of innovation, resilience, and the excellence forged by those who served before us. We honor their sacrifices by carrying forward their mission, preserving freedom and ensuring a safer world for generations to come. On this Veterans Day, let us remember and salute our veterans who have served in the Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program, the Navy, and the entire armed forces. Their commitment inspires us and will never be forgotten. To all our veterans and their families, thank you for your service.
Amen to that. We're awaiting the president there. He's going to be arriving, I believe, at around 10:45, 11 o'clock this morning at Arlington National Cemetery there. He's going to participate in that wreath-laying ceremony and then, of course, delivering a speech to the American people on this Veterans Day. And if it wasn't for people like my late grandpa, U.S. Army Sergeant Salvatore Arrigo, we wouldn't have what we have today. And we were talking about that from the top of the broadcast. Again, the mere presence of a United States military is that peace through strength just right here within our borders. And also, you know, the freedoms that we have. We've heard that line before, but you think about it, way back in the day with George Washington, with our United States Army, we just wouldn't have a country without our military, and it's just what they do for us day in and day out. We're thankful, including down there on the southern border, assisting with the southern border project when it comes to sealing the border and building the wall there, along with, the Customs Border Protection agents who are helping. I mean, everybody's working together, and it's all for our homeland. So what a day it is today, Veterans Day 2025. All right, let's go to a couple sponsors here as it's 10:16 this morning on this Tuesday, November 11th. Let's go to angelpace.com. They hire military veterans as well at that great company. So if you go to angelpace.com, use the RSBN promo code, you get quite the percentage off with all of the different products there, including the Miracle Cream that you see there on the screen. So many, many great products. Also, if you're looking to get a couple early Christmas gifts, give it a shot there, angelpace.com. Let's also go to kalshi.com/RSBN. And one of the things that, people may be betting or trading or just checking out polls on is something very, very a light note of things, kind of like, are you decorating already for Christmas time? Yes or no? It's various things, various topics that people talk about on Kalshi, but everything from faith, sports, politics, weather, whatever. People are putting money on the line for it, but outside of that, you can just check out polls as well. It's kind of a fun site to go to. Definitely a good place if you'd like to bet or trade. So Cove Pure as well is our next sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Of course, if you're into tap water, you don't need to listen to this, but not many people are. And if you are like drinking your tap water, I don't know. It's it doesn't taste good, as you guys know. And then also there's all these chemicals and junk in it. Well, Cove Pure is the one that's going to take 99.9% of that stuff out of the water. So especially in those older pipes, the water travels through, goes right out the tap. Ugh. This is a great thing to have, this filtration system. So the water tastes better. It's healthier for you. It takes 99.9% of the chemicals out of the tap water, and it's great because you have cold, warm, and hot as the temperature choices there. $200 off right now for a limited time. So all I have to do is go to covepure.com/RSBN. Again, drink pure, live pure, covepure.com. It's 10:18 Tuesday, November 11th, awaiting President Donald J. Trump there in Arlington. He's not slated to leave the White House until about 10:35 this morning on the East Coast. He will not be, as I said earlier, won't be flying Air Force One to Arlington. He won't be taking Marine One either. Definitely just a quick motorcade ride in the Beast over there. And if we have other cameras that are within the pool feed system and we're able to see that arrival, we'll show that to you. If not, we definitely have where the event is being held today. Of course, this Veterans Day ceremony, the president will be participating in a wreath-laying ceremony there, and then we'll be delivering a speech to the American people. In the meantime, we may be having Christina Loren, our RSBN host, join us live from Nashville, Tennessee. A great state, of course, the volunteer state. If you've ever been to Nashville, man, I'll tell you what, quite the time there in Nashville. But outside of that, if you've never been, let me sell you on it real quick. I mean, the amount of patriotism in definitely on Lower Broadway. You have that Redneck Riviera bar and restaurant from the great John Rich, conservative musician. It's quite the spot to listen to live music, and a place like that, even tonight in Nashville on Lower Broadway on a Tuesday in November, will be quite crowded. People just enjoying the freedoms that they have, and not only in Nashville, but from coast to coast. Again, without our great military, this just wouldn't be possible. Let's listen in right now. I believe I'm hearing something in the production room. I'm not sure if that's what I'm getting here, guys. Is that what I'm hearing from there in Arlington National Cemetery? Okay, that is not from Arlington. Okay. Anyway, so we'll be going to Arlington here in just a minute. We'll hear from the president in just a second. But in the meantime, let's re-rack some of the videos from the top of the broadcast as we hear from the Veterans Affairs Secretary, Doug Collins. He actually just posted this video within the 24/7 news cycle. Let's take a listen. That's what it's all about right there, the word freedom. That's what it's all about. And we know that, and it's not being dramatic. I mean, thank God for our freedoms. Let's bring in RSBN host Christina Loren right now. As soon as I see her on the screen, guys, I don't see her yet, but we'll go to Christina in just a second. But yeah, there she is. Thanks so much for joining us on Right Side this morning, Christina. Your thoughts about Veterans Day in America?
Veterans Day, Matthew, first of all, I'm so happy to be here with you on Veterans Day because I know that, like myself, you, sir, are a patriot and you know what it means to live in this country. We are so blessed to have been born on this sacred ground. And in this country, the reason why we get to enjoy the prosperity, the freedom that we have is because of those who volunteered to serve. And it's generation after generation after generation. That is what has withstood the test of time over 250 years almost. This is not a coincidence. This is not something that was chaos that organized just on its own. This is continuity. This is freedom. And it comes to us courtesy of the United States military.
And you think about the word courtesy, and then you see the beautiful red, white, and blue behind you, and then you think of the late, great Toby Keith. That song, courtesy of the red, white, and blue. You know, I mean, we heard that. Christina, how many times have you been at a rally, and then President Trump's team would be playing courtesy of the red, white, and blue? What a song that is, from now until forevermore.
That's right. And what a line. And I always would hype up, you know, the big line. But right before Toby Keith would say it, wait for it, because we'll stick a boot in your ass. And you know, that's not something I like to say. But I think that it embodies the American spirit. And what makes us so unique are the values that are embodied by the U.S. military. They're not afraid to stand up for what is right. They are serving a power that is greater than themselves. They're willing to take part in something that is not just going to allow for freedoms here at home around the world. We're protecting democracy around the globe. And so it's our military. It's not politicians. I mean, we have a great president because he supports our military so much, but it's not the politicians that make this country great. It's our military. And for too long, they have not received the credit that they deserve for standing up and for honoring the call that so many of us take for granted, especially the youth in this country. I mean, when you get to hear from a grandfather who served in World War II or in Vietnam, it drives things home for you in a way that kids these days, they're just not getting the same experience.
Well, hopefully the education system will be turning to the right side of history in the sense of exactly what happened in history. But the point that you're making is great because you think about it, we're about to celebrate 250 years in our country. I mean, we are in November. It's only in July 4th, 2026. And you think about it, 250 years ago, you think about George Washington, you think about the United States Army, you think about the Delaware River and the crossing there, the Delaware. So it's like, without all of our military, we wouldn't have any of this anyway. You know what I mean? And we talk about the military from time to time here on this network, even outside of Veterans Day, because we understand that freedom is what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. And the military was looking a lot different under Joe Biden's leadership than what we're seeing under President Trump, which is why we have record recruitment. We have backlogs, people who weren't able to get their benefits, waiting for months, even years sometimes, to get their VA benefits. Even with the cuts from DOGE, they were able to cut the backlog from January of 2025 in half at the VA departments across this country under President Trump's leadership. So I think that when it comes down to it, we need to do everything to support our military. These guys are the real deal. They're not selling you a lie, a utopian society that can never exist. These guys put it all on the line. They went out there. They didn't know what exactly they were signing up for. A lot of the time, they put their lives on the line. They left their families, and they did it for this country. And what makes this country great is capitalism. And so the more and more I see this shift towards socialism, it's a scary thought for future generations, but also it's a slap in the face to our U.S. military. And it's a slap in the face to what makes this country great. And I don't understand why the young people this day and age aren't getting that messaging.
Unfortunately, over the years, as you know, Christina, all of the indoctrination from the entire system and the brainwashing makes people vote the way they did in New York City. And interestingly enough, Christina, did you get to see the numbers? There was about 1 million people that voted for Mamdani, 846,000 for Cuomo, 46,000 or about 146,000 for Curtis Sliwa. So in a city of 8 million people, 1 million people that are indoctrinated voted for Mamdani. Can you, I mean, that's awful, obviously. And then recently our nation observed Anti-Communism Week, which was November 2nd through the 8th. You know what? It should be Anti-Communism all the time year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the reasons why he was able to get those numbers up so high was because of the younger demographic. And that is exactly who the Democrats are targeting. They're going after the young people. They're trying to create this feeling that something was taken from them, that this country is supposed to offer the same liberties, the same opportunities, the same equal chances for everybody, but that's not possible. It's not the way that the world works. And the reason why utopian societies don't exist is because the math can never add up. You have to deal with things like reality and public policy. And for him to try to make city buses free, he's going to have to go through the state level and all kinds of layers of bureaucracy. And he's probably going to have his hands tied behind his back, and he's going to blame the Republicans. So they're going to continue to sell this ideological theater to the young people of this country as they continue to shape it towards socialism and take away everything that's great just so the Democrats can maintain power. That is what this has become. And that's a sad state of affairs, because when you build a house on a weak foundation and you keep building and building and building, eventually that house is going to collapse. And that's going to happen in New York. And if Republicans don't get in front of this and really drill down and granularly show all of his mistakes along the way and add up the receipts, this is going to become the rule in major Democrat-run cities in the country. We will see these socialist mayors stepping up in droves unless we do something to get in front of it right now.
Great point. RSBN host Christina Loren. I think sometimes when people say maybe socialism, or maybe when Barack Obama decides not to endorse Mamdani, or I think a lot of it is the mask is on in some ways. They say, oh, it's just socialism. At the end of the day, if you're anti-God, anti-Constitution, anti-freedom, anti-all the good things, anti-common sense, God, family, country, freedom, all the things, right? I just really believe that they're straight up on the way wrong side of history. They're most likely communist or worst, and they just are wanting to destroy our country. I don't think it stops at socialism. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I also think that, they see the people who feel like they have been cheated by the system, or the people who feel like they haven't been given a fair hand to play in this world, in this life, in this country. I think that all too often they see what's being featured on Instagram and TikTok and, lifestyles of the rich and famous, and they're seeing this facade, not even real. And they think that, certain people born with certain attributes are automatically welcomed into this club and you get all these things, but that's not the way that it is. I think that in America, what makes this country great is that if you are willing to work hard consistently, you can make it. You can support your family. You can make the choices for you and your family, where you want to live, the things that you want to do. It's not you get to be born into this country and all of a sudden prosperity falls on you. You still have to work hard for it. We all have to work hard, no matter what. That's just the way that this life is. And God loves us all equally. And in his eyes, we're his treasures, each and every one of us. We're different. He wants us that way. If we were all the same in utopia, what a boring existence.
It's so true. And you think about it, the only reason why we are the way we are in this country, in the sense of so wealthy, well, one, God has blessed and is continuing to bless the United States, but also the people of the country are saying, we love God, family, country, freedom, capitalism, right? And all individual responsibility. So you have all of these things working for our good. And so, yeah, we had to work to get to this point. This wasn't just given only to us. So I think a lot of times people get that crossed where it's only just God. Well, it is, but you also have to do your part too, don't you?
That's right. Free will. It's part of the equation. God, if God is for it, he will support it. That's something I found to be true in my life. There's certain things though, you're going to work really, really hard and you're going to give it your all, and you're not going to be as good as other people doing the same things. We all have different skill sets and skill levels. And I look at it as aces in their places. You got to figure out how you can contribute to the society at the highest level based on your particular skill set. I think that if we start looking at it that way, how can we make this country great, working together with the gifts that God has given us, as opposed to, woe is me, my neighbor across the street just got a Ferrari and I'm struggling to pay my bills every month. It's like, you're always going to covet what your neighbor has, but you don't know what's inside that neighbor's house. You don't know what it's like when she goes home to her husband at night. It always seems like things are perfect or better for other people. The grass is always greener. It's not. You got to take the things in your own life that make you happy, your family, the things that you love to do, and embrace those things and figure out how to have a good life filled with love and good relationships. That is our task on this planet. It's not to make the most money, to have the most toys, to take the man down, the oppressors down. That's not our goal. We're supposed to live our life, enjoy our life, love each other, help each other. And I don't think that these people who are selling socialism under the banner of compassion realize that they're going to hurt our country so badly that they're going to take us to a place that we cannot recover from. And everything that we've done to make this country great, I could see Mondani just flushing it down the New York City sewer line. I really can. And I think that just like Gavin Newsom, he'll get away with it, just like Gavin did to California, because they're going to continue to scream like, oh, we want compassion, we want equality, we want equity. But that's really not what it's about. They want power. And so I think that we really need to look at things for what they are. President Trump, I can't tell you how much I love this man and what he's done for this country and how steadfast he is. I wish the Democrats could be a little bit more consistent. They're flopping all over the place. They can't get their messaging right. So we are blessed in this country. Socialism will destroy this country. We've seen it happen time and time again in the history books. And we need to let the young people know that. The Republican Party right now needs to make a really strong outreach mission to young people. And so devastatingly sad that we lost our champion, Charlie Kirk, who was making that happen. But we got to step up and fill that void. Because if not, we're not just going to be handing our kids a lesser America than we had the chance to enjoy. We're going to be handing their kids and their kids debt. Trillions and trillions of dollars of debt.
On top of that, we know tvOS is still out there with This Is the Turning Point, out there doing the best they can, keeping things going. The movement is still alive. And just yesterday, tvOS actually posted about that. Keep this movement alive, as yesterday was 2 months since the late, great Charlie Kirk was assassinated in Utah. Still can't believe when I talk about it, I'm like, did that really happen? It's still mind-boggling, but yeah, we have a country to save, and that's the facts. And we know that with President Trump and the team there, they understand that, and we have to see it done over the next 3 years. And we don't want what Newsom and AOC and Mamdani and Pritzker and Brandon Johnson and Schumer and the retiree Pelosi and on. We don't want their Marxist, communist, destroy America ideology to run our country. We wanted the ideology that you were talking about earlier with the sewers of New York. You look at, let's do something that's out of the norm, because mainstream media, I'm so sick of the mainstream media, so that's why it's fun to be able to say some things like this. But, in the sewer of New York, there's a lot of what in there. There's a lot of crap in there, right? It's disgusting, it smells, it's awful. Well, that's the comparison of what Marxism is. It's disgusting, it's awful, and it stinks to the high heavens, right? And we have this beautiful platinum gold country that is built on freedom and God, the love for God, family, country, and freedom. and it's beautiful. And what the Marxists want to do is to reach their disgusting hand down in that sewer, pull out some sludge, and throw it onto our country. Are you kidding me? No, that's not on our watch. And I'm not, as a journalist, I'm not going to want to let that happen. So I'll do the best I can. But I can't do that alone. Of course, we have a number of people out there working on it. But that's what we see. I love analogies. That's the analogy, is it not, Christina?
It absolutely is. And I think that's part of the godliness inside of us. We feel like we have to step up when we see that things aren't right, or we see that they're being set up for failure. It's part of being a Christian to do the hard thing and to stand up and say, whoa, 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 whoa. I know this guy is selling you free childcare and free city buses and city-run grocery stores, all these things that sound great, but they're not actually going to happen. And if they do actually happen, they're going to be at a much smaller scale than what he is designing with this grand design. He knows himself he can't make these things happen. So what these people are doing, they are literally snake oil salesmen. They are selling ideologies to maintain power. And when they have that power, just like Kamala Harris showed us, they don't know what they're going to do with it. She didn't know what she was going to do the next day. She didn't know what she was going to do with the economy. She had no idea. So why should we let these people have power? Especially because they're playing so dirty right now to get it and to maintain it, all because they don't like one man, Donald Trump. And to me, this is very spiritual. You know, when you drill down to its core, this is a spiritual battle. It literally is a spiritual battle. And it's interesting how wolves can look like sheep and sheep like wolves, especially when the media gets involved and starts painting pictures that are false.
Exactly. That's that false narrative out there. Christina Loren, RSBN host, live from Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again soon.
Bye. Great talking to you, Matthew.
You too.
Happy Veterans Day.
You too. Thank you. All right. So it's 10:38 Tuesday, November 11th. I'm so grateful for all of you guys, watching today on RSBN. And speaking of grateful, Christina was talking about, basically happiness in America, or happiness as a person. And it really does start with being grateful for right now for what you do have. So many times we may look at, oh, I don't have that, or I don't have that. And that makes you not so happy, right? Let's just kind of get that refresher, especially since Thanksgiving's around the corner, just being thankful and grateful. I get that's easier said than done sometimes. But anyway, we have a country to save, guys. Let's keep on keeping on. And let's go to some of our great sponsors. Thanks to them and their great products. And also, how about being healthy and getting taken care of with that when it comes to All Family Pharmacy? Because this Veterans Day, we honor the men and women, of course, who risked everything to protect our freedom, including the freedom to make your own choices about your health. Our great sponsor, All Family Pharmacy, has a special promotion for all of our viewers today. So right now, as you see there, they're giving you a 25% off site-wide with that code RSBN25 through tomorrow. So get the medications your family needs. They offer more than 300 trusted prescription medications and supplements, all reviewed by licensed doctors, shipped straight to your door, and there's more. When you order from their supplement line, Operation Wellness, part of every purchase is donated to Children of Fallen Patriots, helping fund education for the children of our fallen heroes. So you can take care of your family and give back to theirs. Don't miss this Veterans Day offer. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN to save and to purchase those products there, allfamilypharmacy.com. Every major financial disaster, of course, begins with a few simple facts that a number of people ignore. In 2007, it was overextended credit, reckless lending, and misplaced faith that, quote unquote, everything will hold. Well, that didn't happen. Banks failed, savings vanished, retirements were cut in half. The lesson was painful and unforgettable. So today, those same indicators are returning a bit, and auto loan defaults are rising. Commercial real estate is strained. Private credit has grown far beyond its limits. And now even Jamie Dimon, a man who understands money better than most, is warning that when you see one problem in the system, there are always others hiding behind it. So these aren't really theories, they're patterns. And patterns repeat when people refuse to act. So for more than 25 years, Monetary Gold has guided Americans through every economic storm with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and one constant truth. Real value endures when paper confidence fades. So you can study the evidence and act on reason there. Give them a call, 888-617-7994, or go to rsbnforthegold.com today to learn how owning tangible gold and silver can anchor your savings before the next shock arrives. mypillow.com/RSBN. A lot of great products, as you guys know. We have a number of them at our house, and I know our family does up north as well. And I know a lot of you guys do too. So there's some great products, of course, to buy for Christmas presents or just presents in general. And also, if you just need a new pillow or a new whatever, Giza Dream Sheets, you know, that kind of thing, you can get that right there with mypillow.com. The great Mike Lindell doing great things for our country. As it is now 10:41, Tuesday, November 11th. Once again, as you see there, President Trump delay the wreath and give an address for Veterans Day coming up. The president scheduled to leave the White House just moments ago, so at about 10:35 this morning. On his way there in the motorcade. We're tracking a lot of stories as well out there. We'll get to that in just a bit. But today, really, obviously focusing on Veterans Day in America. And if you've watched RSBN Live over the past, I don't know how many years, we've always talked about our U.S. military. And it's great to be able to highlight that once again here on Veterans Day. Of course, without our great United States military, we would not have a nation. We would not have our freedoms. And just the mere presence of a let's just be straight up about it, a badass military, it's peace through strength. You have these people out there that are signing up for freedom, signing up for the Constitution. And it's great to see that. I mean, the recruitment numbers are up. I spoke to a Marine recruiter the other day at Freedom Fest here in Alabama. We may have that soundbite from yesterday. I'm not sure if the director can locate that, but at the end of the day, we're looking forward to seeing President Trump here today, moments from now. Now, we played a number of the videos earlier, and so what we're going to do is, for those that have just joined us, we'll play a few more of them once again here on Right Side. Let's go out west, actually. Let's go to U.S. Berkeley yesterday. And usually, let's be real about that. I won't usually say, let's go to UC Berkeley, sorry. A very liberal campus, of course, but TPUSA, This Is the Turning Point event, the final one of the year, was held there last night. Obviously, Antifa, a few of the paid protesters and the people that are indoctrinated are out there trying to, cause some havoc and wreak some havoc. But Savannah Hernandez and others covering that on X and Truth Social and other places. Great to see the reporting out there. But when you look at the small number of people that are paid or just indoctrinated on the wrong side of history, all you have to do is look inside and see thousands and thousands of people that are on the right side of history celebrating the life of the late, great Charlie Kirk. And then on top of that, the great conservative actor and comedian Rob Schneider was in that campus yesterday at that event and talked about Veterans Day as well. So let's take a look at that video as we get ready to see the President of the United States of America.
Yes. Hi, I have a question for all four of you. In America, and I assume so in England, we have a problem with veterans and homelessness and mental illness. What are we doing as a society to help them? On the left, I see disrespect towards veterans in our culture where men can't talk and talk about their feelings as our military is majorly men. But on the right, we make an abortion is a big issue, and I disagree with abortion in general. But what are we doing to keep the people that are already here, that have fought for our freedoms here and on this earth?
Well, we have to take care of our veterans, otherwise this country's soul will rot. We need to take care of people who are protecting this country. So that we're doing better. This administration specifically is doing better. But we have to help. I mean, there used to be in World War I, there's a thing called shell shock. And then it was like, now it's down to post-traumatic stress syndrome. These are really tough things that these people come back from what they've had to endure. These are your neighbors. And I would just like to say this, too, slight off subject. We need to figure out a way to include everybody to do what they can do for this country, not what this country can do for you. We need to put in a voluntary system of university students, and we need 2 years of your life. Dedicated. You want to do the military, you want to serve overseas, you want to help people. We need you to do that. We can't just have a group of people that's selective service and then just send people over, everybody. So when there is a conflict internationally, everyone's son and daughter is potentially going to be sent there. And that will make us all think twice about some other war that we don't want to get tangled in. Thank you.
As I want to mention one thing as a veteran, and that is every country has to have both a force that will protect them from evil outside the country. That's what the military is about. And a force that will protect people from evil inside the country. That's the essential primary purpose of government, to protect innocent people from evil and punish wrongdoers. Biblically, that's Romans 13. James Madison, who wrote our Constitution, said if men were angels, no government would be necessary. We need a government, and a good government, to protect innocent people from evil. Here's my question to you. I don't know the answer to it. We have limited resources in this country to take care of people. Are we spending more money on people who shouldn't be here than we are on our own veterans?
Yeah, like gender reaffirming care.
Well, not just that. I'm talking about illegal immigration.
In this state. Now,
so that shouldn't be. Every country should take care of their own first. Yeah. That's why we have countries. That's why God set up borders.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, Peter.
Yeah, I have a very quick book recommendation by Michael Schellenberger, as it's appropriate, called San Francisco. And he lays out, if you haven't read it, it's a phenomenal book. It's evidence-based, and he talks about homelessness and drug addiction. And one of the things he talks about is a principle, shelter first, housing earned. So you have to incentivize sobriety. But if you want a point of contact to read about evidence-based solutions, that's my recommendation.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
If I can ask, I want Peter, if you could talk to us about, because he has a beautiful system. I want you to think about this, how to have difficult conversations. And that really was, because you're going to have difficult conversations with the people outside here who are still waiting for us to leave. How are we going to have difficult conversations, Peter? And how do we handle it?
Yeah,
Seriously.
thanks. So I'm preparing myself for the onslaught of booze I'm about to get for this. But in 2013, I wrote a book, A Manual for Creating Atheists. Oh, wow. Okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. And I walked backstage here, and I walked in to I don't know, my new friend Frank, who wrote, I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. And Frank came immediately over to me and shook my hand and said, Peter, it is so nice to meet you.
Okay, so that was yesterday at UC Berkeley in California, of course. Great to see tvOS in such an area that is pretty much anti, the Constitution. Great to see that with This is the Turning Point final event there for this year for campus tours coming up, AmFest in December next month in Phoenix. Going to be quite the conference there at the Phoenix Convention Center. My wife and I went to that back in, I believe it was 2022 in December. It is an awesome event. tvOS obviously does a great job, and the late great Charlie Kirk, man, icon of freedom, sorely missed, but also a great creator of events. And you'll see that, of course, for the tvOS event coming up next month. In the meantime, all of this brought to you by some great sponsors, including a new sponsor, Venice.ai. This is all about private and uncensored AI. This is a great new sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. I actually just used this a minute ago. You can ask it anything. And then from there, it'll get you some information lightning speed. They created a platform that's faster, simpler, and more responsive to the latest advancements in AI. So no accounts required, no downloads, no data collection, just powerful AI at your fingertips. So we believe that according to AI here, the Venice.ai, they believe that AI should enhance human capability while respecting human dignity. So it should be a tool for unrestricted exploration and creation, not surveillance and control. So Venice exists to make this vision a reality. More than 1 million users already on this, and you can experience AI as it should be, powerful, private, and permissionless. So you can go there right now. Again, I went there. You can ask anything. It'll do so many things for you. It's kind of like a personal assistant that is built right into this system here with the software. So Venice.ai, we'll be talking much more about this great product coming up a little bit later in the broadcast. Also, as we continue with Right Side Broadcasting Network this week, we'll be diving into more about Venice.ai, brand new sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. We are 9 minutes from the top of the hour here on RSBN Live. And of course, we're grateful to all of you guys for joining us on this day. Of course, it's Veterans Day in America. Let's take you live to Arlington National Cemetery and listen in as we await the president. Looking live there at Arlington National Cemetery. The Commander-in-Chief is on his way there, of course, still participate in this wreath-laying ceremony to honor our veterans, but also to remember the fallen military service members that without our military, we wouldn't have a nation, we wouldn't have the freedoms we have. So to all of our great military veterans and active service members, thank you for your service to this country. We love you, and we thank you again for that. And speaking of some great military veterans, over the weekend, I got to meet the Army Staff Sergeant and a Medal of Honor recipient, Melvin Harris. This happened at Freedom Fest in Alabama, and we spoke with his son as well, as you see the photo there of Melvin. Great to meet him. To meet a number of people, to just thank them for what they have done for this nation. It was during Vietnam where he was able to save a number of soldiers and wouldn't leave any man behind in the line of fire. Receiving that Medal of Honor, of course, Melvin Harris. So great to meet him. And also wounded warrior Joshua Wetzel served as a sergeant in the United States Army. Got to speak with him as well. He's dealt with a lot, but he's an overcomer, just like people that are on the right side of history are. So let's take a look at that video from over the weekend.
So I served with the 2nd Infantry Division in the Army. We deployed to Mushan, Afghanistan in 2012, March of 2012. And our main threat was improvised explosive devices everywhere we went. So every patrol we went on, we were just like ducks in a row behind a metal detector. And contrary to popular belief, I was pretty good at finding them. But on May the 31st of 2012, I stepped on an IED. It was our first non-metallic IED in the area, and I didn't have the equipment to be able to find it. And so instantly lost both of my legs. I can remember flying through the air, landing on the ground. I pretty much knew what happened. I had watched another guy do it the day before, and so I knew, at that moment my legs were gone. And, yeah.
And then how have you stayed strong since then? What has been your rock to keep it on?
Yeah, so I'm a pretty stubborn guy, I haven't really ever had a healthy fear of anything. So in that moment, I never really even feared dying. And I come from a military family. My father served in Desert Storm. I had 6 uncles that served in the military in some capacity. And so competitiveness was always, in my blood. And, right off the bat when I got injured, like my medic was all worried about everything. He's one of my best friends, and I told him like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna get some of those cool running blades that they've got now, and I have those. They're just in my attic, but I for me, like, my family was huge. The day first time I saw my wife at Walter Reed Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland, I was upset, and she asked me why I was crying, and I was like, well, I lost my legs in Afghanistan, and her first words to me was like, we know where they're at, we're just not going to go back and get them, and so that kind of set the tone for me, like everything's going to be okay. And my family rallied around me, and it was just a huge family thing, and so that helped me kind of get through things pretty easily.
Again, over the weekend, a lot of different events for veterans throughout our country. That was at Freedom Fest in Opelika, Alabama. So it was great to meet wounded warriors and others, Medal of Honor recipients that even know that there was an event happening. It just happened to be that we were out for errands, my wife and I and our baby, and we're going to one of the banks on Saturday, and it was closed, and the other branch was in the other town. So we went over there and saw Freedom Fest going on, and I'm like a kid in a candy store when it comes to, these kind of events. It's like, oh my gosh, these are veterans. Let's go meet them. Let's talk to them. I interviewed them, and there you go. You get to see it on TV. It's just the way it is. But anyway, looking live there at the Arlington National Cemetery. And again, out of that context there, back to that story of Freedom Fest, it just comes from that place that many of you that are watching simply love God, family, country, and freedom. And I know that I might not be the most... what's it called? I don't even know the word to use. Let's just put it this way. I just wear my heart on my sleeve. I love the country just like a lot of you do too. So, and I'm here live a lot, and I know with Robert McNeely as well. And we share our different analysis that we see that's happening out there. Of course, we cover the news. We talk about all the different news stories as well. But sometimes in this situation like this, we just wear our heart on our sleeve and don't read from a teleprompter and rock and roll for the country. You know what I mean? So anyway, we'll be seeing the president here in just a bit. So we're looking at an arrival time of just a few minutes from now for the Commander-in-Chief. Before we get to that, we have a couple of great sponsors, including All Family Pharmacy. So this Veterans Day, we're honoring, of course, the men and women who risked everything to protect our freedom, including the freedom to make your own choices about your health. Our great sponsor, All Family Pharmacy, has a special promotion for all of our viewers. Right now, they're giving you 25% off site-wide with code RSBN25 through tomorrow, November 12th. So you can get the medications your family needs. They offer more than 300 trusted prescription medications and supplements, all reviewed by licensed doctors and shipped straight to your door. And there's more. When you order from their supplement line, Operation Wellness, part of every purchase is donated to Children of Fallen Patriots, helping fund education for the children of our fallen heroes. So you can take care of your family and give back to theirs. Don't miss this Veterans Day offer. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN and use code RSBN25 for 25% off. Tomorrow is the last moment to do that. So a great sponsor here at Right Side. Also, a new sponsor here on the network, Venice.ai. Of course, Sam Altman recently announced that ChatGPT can now reference all of your past conversations. And the question is, do you feel comfortable knowing that an AI platform has access to your thoughts, dreams, sensitive questions, business ideas, and all that? Well, there's something for that. There's a solution to all of that. Venice.ai actually lets you use AI without handing over your sensitive information. There are a number of features. There's open source AI models. Venice utilizes leading open source AI models to deliver text, code, and image generation to your web browser. There's no downloads, no installations of anything, private and permissionless. They don't spy on you or censor the AI. Messages are encrypted, and your conversation history is stored only in your browser. So obviously AI can be extremely valuable, but we shouldn't need to give up our privacy to use it. So there's a number of plans on Venice.ai. I used it earlier today. It says ask anything. It's the first thing you see when you go to that website. It's awesome. You can download it, of course, right there on your phone, Venice.ai/RSBN. Great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Again, we'll be covering a number of different angles with this new sponsor, as there's a lot to get to, but we'll get to it here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's 11:02 this morning. Thanks so much for watching. Let's go there live right now to Arlington National Cemetery. Of course, we're waiting for the president there as we speak, and you're looking at the spot there that the president will be speaking as well. So the president will take part in the wreath-laying ceremony for Veterans Day, and then also speaking to an audience in the bottom right of your screen. And Director, if we can go to a closer or a bigger box of me, I just have something to share with the people there. So earlier, this pin right here is my American flag pin. It wasn't perfectly tight on the suit. And so I was going like this to try and, straighten it out. It fell on the ground. And it's like, that's why it took us a second to come back to you here live. But I said, you know what, let's just hold that picture. I don't want the flag on the ground, first of all, even though it's just, a pin. And I don't want to go on air without the flag on this lapel. That's just what just happened right now. Just wanted to give inside baseball and here in the studio. Also, sporting the Freedom hat today, of course, and the Freedom t-shirt. Before I came into work, I was wearing this stuff and then threw on the suit. But why am I telling you all that? You might ask, we don't know. Well, the answer is, I think a lot of times in mainstream media, there's just not a real transparency with who you're listening to. And I think that's one thing that we have in conservative media is just to be straight up, be yourself, and share your thoughts about the country, report on what's going on out there. We see some great reporting as well by people like James O'Keefe and Nick Sordor and Nick Shirley, Savannah Hernandez. They're out there, right there, boots on the ground. Obviously, you see us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network covering events day in and day out. This is something that we have a friendship, basically, with you guys on the right side of history that are watching. This is not just, you're watching the news now, and here's some guy talking to us that has no connection to what the heck's going on out there. I'm just like you guys. We're on the same team in the sense of we the people. This thing's for God, family, country, and freedom. And we're looking forward to seeing President Donald Trump here in just a minute. Of course, we're tracking a lot of the news stories out there. We're still in the day 41 of this Schumer shutdown. I know it's advancing already in the Senate. It's passed in the Senate. Now it's to the House, and then it will be to President Trump's desk to be signed. And finally, our government will be fully operational in the sense of fully funded. We're keeping track on any stories when it comes to any deep state indictments as well. We know that the 20 core promises of this country are needed to save the nation, including holding people accountable. So there's just a lot to be done over the next 3+ years under President Trump, because we don't want to see a Gavin Newsom in office in 2029. We don't want to see our country go the way that just happened in New York City with Zohran Mamdani. Again, if you remember, 1 million, a little bit north of 1 million people voted for Zohran, 846,000 for Cuomo. So out of 8 million people that live there. So if we learn anything, we learn, let's get out the vote big time in the midterms and in the next presidential election. Let's secure our elections. Let's hold people accountable according to anything in the court of law if there's evidence and receipts. All right, and let's win this thing, because that's what our veterans have done for us. They've won for us. They've been there for us. And they are, right now, the active service members for freedom, for our country. So we're all working together on this thing. It's called saving the United States of America. And let's tell it like it is. We know that there's concerns out there when it comes to what just happened in New York City. Lara Trump's the one that said the other day, this is something that could spread to every city or across this country, this communist type of thing that just happened in New York. She goes, that's why we have to fight so much harder when it comes to voting, praying, working hard. We just want our country to be taken care of in that sense. We want our Constitution to continue to be the law of the land. So no wonder we're, covering the president like we do and talking like we do, because that's just what we do. And it's just something that I think is refreshing to many people. I know that when I listen to people like Robert McNeely here on the network, or if I listen to people at tvOS or other conservative media outlets, or just Right Side Broadcasting Network as a whole, I'm refreshed as a citizen. I'm refreshed to know that there are people that are speaking against that false narrative out there. It's that information war. And now we know that the information war is so crucial more than ever before, because that information, if it's true, you get a good outcome. If it's false, you get what happened in New York City. The indoctrination of the false information, the brainwashing from the system, and then you have that guy in office, because it sways public opinion, as you guys know. All right, enough of that stuff. But again, awaiting the president there. and Arlington, Virginia, of course, Arlington National Cemetery. Looking forward to hearing the president's speech there as well, in that area right near the cemetery. And we'll be having all of that coverage here live. Let's go to a video that we played earlier from the United States military. Let's take a listen.
Capitol Guardians, and members of Joint Task Force District of Columbia. Veterans understand better than anyone freedom isn't free, but it is worth fighting for. I'm Brigadier General Leland Blanchard, Commanding General of the D.C. National Guard. As our nation observes Veterans Day 2025, I'm asking each of you to take a moment to honor all who have sworn an oath to protect and defend our freedoms. From the battlefields of past wars and conflicts to the missions of today, history has provided us with extraordinary examples of selfless deeds. We also know that each veteran has sacrificed and done so with a full heart. From defending our nation in times of war to responding to emergencies and natural disasters, we stand on the shoulders of those who have served before us. Today is a reminder to all of us.
Shoulder.
Hard.
Okay, live from Washington, D.C., of course, specifically Arlington, Virginia. The president just participating in that wreath-laying ceremony for all of our veterans out there. If you're a veteran watching this broadcast, thanks so much for what you have done for our country. We wouldn't have what we have without what you have done for our nation. Our nation wouldn't exist without the beginning when it comes to the United States Army, of course, led by General George Washington. So next up is the president going over to the amphitheater. He'll be delivering a speech there. As soon as he gets there, as soon as he starts, we'll take you there live. We also have a number of videos that the White House and other department social media accounts have posted. So we'll get to some of those videos, whether it's any second from now or right after the speech. It just depends on what we'll get in that time frame as the Commander-in-Chief once again walks over to deliver a speech. Of course, it is Veterans Day in America. So the president there speaking any minute from now over the weekend here in Alabama. And many of you may have attended various parades or events. There was a Freedom Fest in Alabama over the weekend. Got to meet some great military veterans, a Medal of Honor recipient, Army Staff Sergeant Melvin Harris, who in Vietnam, in the line of fire, went in and would not leave any soldier behind and saved some soldiers and received that Medal of Honor. Also spoke with a wounded warrior, Joshua Wetzel, who an IED hit him. He lost his legs, but he's still on the right side of history and really obviously very supportive of our veterans, as he is one himself. And, you know, anytime we're around people that have done things like that for our nation, it's just nothing but honor and respect, because we know that we don't want what's happening in New York City to spread across this land. And so through the right people in office, through our military, we have a nation that is on the right side of history at this point. We're hoping for more of that for years to come. We know we have that under President Trump, but we have a lot of work to do over the next 3+ years. Let's go to some live music now at the amphitheater there in Arlington, Virginia. I'm Matthew Alvarez. This is RSBN Live.
transfigured you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us die to make men free, while God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
Distinguished guests, it is now my distinct privilege to introduce the members of the Veterans Day National Committee. The committee was formed by presidential order in 1954 to plan this annual observance and support other Veterans Day observances throughout the nation. Please hold your applause until I have introduced each special guest. If you're able, please stand when your name is called. Justin McClure, Army and Navy Union, United States of America. Gary McClure, Non-Commissioned Officers Association of the United States of America. Dan K. Wiley, the American Legion. Tracy Brown, Military Order of the Purple Heart. Timothy Morgan, Marine Corps League. Michael H. Hoyer, Military Chaplains Association of the United States of America. Robert Thomas, Paralyzed Veterans of America. Victor Binkowski, Legion of Valor of the United States of America. David J. Worley, Military Order of the World Wars. Justin Jump, TRIA, the Enlisted Association. Pat Payne, Congressional Medal of Honor Society of the United States of America. Coleman Francis Nee, Disabled American Veterans. Brian D. Anderson, Military Officers Association of America. Kurt Kestelut, Commissioned Officers Association of the United States Public Health Service. Keith Reed, Air Force Sergeants Association. David Pycook, Polish Legion of American Veterans of the United States of America. Jeffrey Brodeur, Korean War Veterans Association of the United States of America. David Rodriguez, American GI Forum of the United States. Michael Collins, Catholic War Veterans. Wade Davis, Blinded Veterans Association. Kenneth Greenberg, Jewish War Veterans of the United States of America. John Reiling III, Vietnam Veterans of America. Carol Whitmore, Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Maria Beam, Fleet Reserve Association. The associate and emeritus members of the committee are also with us today. Associate and emeritus members, please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing our Veterans Day National Committee leadership with your applause. please stand if you are able for the arrival of the official party. Distinguished guests, the President of the United States, accompanied by the Vice President. Distinguished guests, please remain standing for the procession of our nation's colors and those of our veteran service organizations. As we march on the colors, the United States Army Band will play the National Emblem March. Please place your right hand over your heart or render a hand salute. Distinguished guests, please remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain Kimberly Willis, Executive Director of Chaplain Service for the United States Department of Veterans Affairs.
Good morning. Let us pray. Eternal and ever faithful God, on this sacred morning beneath the quiet majesty of these marble arches, we gather in this hallowed place to pay tribute, to reflect, and to recommit. We come before you as a grateful nation, mindful of those who have donned the uniform, answered the call, and stood in the breach on behalf of freedom. You who chart the course of every life, know each one who answered to the distant horizon, to the storm-tossed sea, to the far-off watch. You have seen the quiet courage and the visible sacrifice, the sleepless nights, the lonely return, the unspoken burdens. You have carried the tears of family, the prayers of caregivers, and the hope of a grateful people. We remember those who fell, whose names rest beneath these stones, silent sentinels of our nation's promise. We remember those who yet bear in body or spirit the cost of service. Grant them your healing, your strength, and your peace. And to families who waited, who worried, who bore the weight of absence, extend your sustaining grace, O Comforter. We give thanks for the Department of Veteran Affairs, who daily honor our nation's sacred trusts. And we bless the Veteran Service organizations whose devotion ensures that no veteran stands alone. In honor of those who served, renew our covenant to tend the garden of democracy with vigilance and care, to serve with humility, to lead with integrity, to walk together as one people under your guiding hand. Underpin our labors with hope, our words with true, our action with compassion. Let freedom ring not only on the battlefield, but in the everyday lives of your people. God bless the United States of America, that we may be true to the promise entrusted to us, vigilant in peace, resolute in service, defender of justice, and steadfast in gratitude. It is in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Seated. I am honored to introduce the 2025 National Veterans Day Observance co-host organization, the American Veterans, better known as AMVETS. The organization began in 1944 when 18 World War II veterans met in Kansas City, Missouri to form the American Veterans of World War II. Just 3 years later, President Harry S. Truman signed Public Law 216, making AMVETS the first World War II veterans group chartered by Congress. Over the decades, its charter expanded to include those who served in every era from World War II to today, including members of the National Guard and Reserves. Today, AMVETS focuses on critical veterans issues such as mental health, suicide prevention, and ensuring women veterans receive equal recognition and opportunities. Representing AMVETS today is National Commander Paul Shipley, a U.S. Army combat veteran who served from 2004 to 2014, including a deployment to Iraq. Commander Shipley is the first post-9/11 veteran and one of the youngest leaders in AMVETS' 80-year history. Please join me in welcoming National Commander of AMVETS and co-host of today's ceremony, Mr. Paul Shipley, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and deliver remarks. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Secretary Collins, and distinguished leaders of the veteran service organizations of the United States of America. Good morning and happy Veterans Day. Today, as we gather at this hallowed ground at Arlington National Cemetery, we honor the brave men and women who have served our nation with unwavering courage and sacrifice. It is a solemn moment of remembrance, unity, and a renewal of our commitment to those that have served. Today is also a special celebration of all who put their lives on the line for the United States of America. AMVETS has a proud history spanning over 80 years. Today, our top priorities remain clear. We work tirelessly to prevent veteran suicide and veteran homelessness, because no veteran should be alone in facing these struggles. We promote awareness, prisoners of war, and missing in action issues, ensuring that no hero is ever forgotten. And we are committed to supporting veterans' families, help keeping them united through life's toughest challenges. As the host of this year's Veterans Day National Committee, AMVETS is honored to participate alongside dedicated Department of Veteran Affairs staff and our fellow veteran service organizations. Together, we organize this event to honor our fallen and to reaffirm our duty to those who have served. In the spirit of veterans serving veterans, I challenge each of us, whether here today or watching from home, to find ways to support our veterans, whether through a simple act of kindness, volunteering, or advocating for policies that make a difference. Your efforts matter. Because supporting our veterans is not just a duty, it's a reflection of our gratitude and respect. Let us remember today that their sacrifices have made the freedoms we enjoy possible. And let us pledge to continue serving, protecting, and honoring all who have served our nation. Thank you. God bless our veterans, and God bless America. It is now my humble honor to introduce the 12th Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs. Secretary Doug Collins is an accomplished attorney with more than a decade of legislative experience representing the people of Georgia in the state legislature and later the U.S. House of Representatives. As a U.S. Air Force Reserve chaplain, Secretary Collins has ministered to our country's military since 2002. He completed a 2008 and 2009 deployment to Iraq while stationed at Balad Air Base. Collins remains a colonel in the United States Air Force Reserve, and he previously served in the U.S. Navy Reserve. Please join me in warmly welcoming VA Secretary Doug Collins.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, all of the VSOs, all of our veteran staff here today, and welcome you to a place in which we honor our veterans, those who have served. I tell you, it was an honor to be here, but it was an even bigger honor just over a year ago when President asked me to take this job. And I asked him a simple question. I said, Mr. President, what would you like me to do? And he looked at me with a simple phrase. He said, take care of our veterans. I tell all the rest of the cabinet, I've got the best job in the world because I get to take care of the best people in the world, the veterans of the United States of America. And this president is firmly committed to making sure this happens. The VA is a different place today than it was just 9 months ago. 9 months ago, there was more of an inner reflection. Now it is an outer reflection. The only thing that matters at the VA is that the veteran comes first. All we do is not about a bureaucracy or where we're from. It's about the veteran who walks through our door. Without the veteran, we have no job. The VA now understands that we do nothing else except take care of the veteran and do things for them. And under that direction from the president, we have lowered backlogs. We have increased wait times. And yes, Mr. President, we get them to community when they want to go to the community to see those doctors. And that's all just in the first 9 months. But the best part of this is that there is something to understand. Is that Veterans Day, unlike the others we celebrate, is about everyday people doing extraordinary things. Veterans Day is about men and women who come from small towns, hamlets, villages, and big towns. And they make a decision in their life to raise their right hand and say, I'm committing to something bigger than myself. I'm stepping forward where many will not. I am raising my right hand and committing myself to service to a country, as I said just the other day, to make and ensure that our military is the biggest and baddest in the world. Our veterans make that possible. It comes from people all over, as I served with in Iraq. What I love about Veterans Day is it tells the story of a young girl. She was in her early 20s. I met her on the fields in a wind just like this in the desert of Iraq. She had showed up late, and I was on the night chaplain run, and I'd always saw everybody else, but I didn't recognize her. And I walked up to the gate, and she said, I said, where have you been? And I said, I haven't seen you here. She said, sir, I'm a little bit late deploying with my troops. I said, well, what was the reason? And I figured, I said, you could, I figured, why are you coming in 3 or 4 weeks later? She said, well, sir, just about 2 months ago, I had my daughter. And I looked at her and I said, and you came anyway. I said, you know, you could probably got a deferment of that. She said, no, sir. She said, I'd go where my troops go. I go where they go. And that for the rest of the time I was there, we shared pictures of one growing up, a little one taking first crawls and moves and sharing it in the night sky over Iraq. That is a veteran who serves because they want to serve others. I remember an A1C who was on deployment. He came back and he said, I am now making big money. He said, I can actually help my family and I can buy Christmas presents for those that didn't get any last year. It's about the stories of those as a young man and just a little bit young because he's in his 80s at one of our VA hospitals in hospice, who I walked in on him just the other day and he was playing on a keyboard, Just a Closer Walk with Thee. Veterans Day is about veterans that were not special necessarily when they came up, but they saw a vision and a calling and they said, I want to be a part of our armed services. So when they raised their hand, they made a choice to become one of our favorite in the world, and that is a veteran who serves this country. So as we come to this day of service, this day of happy Thanksgiving for people who are willing to serve, I would just have one word from the half of this administration, and I want everyone to hear it clearly, whether you're in the media, Congress, or anywhere else. I'm a little bit tired of people saying that veterans keep getting stuff. No, veterans do not get anything from this country. They have earned everything that they are getting, and I am committed to making sure they will always have that from this administration and this VA, and that is my promise and this president's promise to you. And with that, it is my honor to introduce to you a father, a husband, and yes, for those in the audience, a Marine. Oh, come on, Marines. There we go. My Marines ain't let me down on this one, because now I get to introduce the great Vice President of the United States. It is his honor. It is his Marine, and I'm making him wait just a minute. It is Mr. Vice President. He is ready to you.
You did a hell of a job. Thank you. Well, thank you, Doug. You're doing a great job at the VA, and I want to say just a couple of things. I've learned a couple of things from working so closely with the President of the United States. The first thing is that he loves our nation's veterans and has committed our nation's administration to putting our veterans first every single day. And the second thing I've learned about the President of the United States is that he really hates when somebody who's speaking before him goes on for too long. And so with that in mind, I have prepared a very brief and very inspiring 1 hour and 45-minute speech on this beautiful Veterans Day out here in the cold. But let me just give 3 very brief messages. First, to our nation's veterans, thank you. Thank you for serving and sacrificing. We've all got so many good stories of people that we served with over the years. During my 4 years of the Marine Corps, I met the very best of America. People who are willing to put on a uniform and risk their lives for their entire country. Just yesterday morning, I met people who lost limbs, who lost very, very important family members, who lost their psychological health, going out there and serving the United States of America. So whether you gave a little bit or whether you gave a lot, every single person who put on the uniform of this nation deserves our gratitude on this day especially, but every day. And so from the Vice President and the entire administration to our nation's veterans, thank you for your service, thank you for your sacrifice, and thank you for making us proud every single day. The second message is to the nation's political leaders. I happen to believe that the most valuable resource that we have isn't the incredible wealth of natural resources of this country, as amazing as it is. The most important natural resource that we have is that we have hundreds of thousands of young people every single month who sign up to put on the uniform and risk their lives for their fellow citizens. That is a resource we cannot squander. That is a resource we must protect. And so to every elected official who's here today, our obligation, our sacred responsibility to our veterans is to make sure that the American military is the bravest and best fighting force anywhere in the world, and to make sure that every time we ask our nation's military to go off to war, we give them the training, we give them the resources, and we give them what they need to kick the enemy's rear end and to come back home safely and quickly. That is our obligation to you. And my third and final message to the American people, I'm asked all the time how to best honor our veterans. And this day in particular gives you an opportunity, and it doesn't have to be difficult and it doesn't have to be complicated. If you find yourself at a restaurant this evening and you see somebody wearing a uniform, buy them a meal if you're able, or buy them a beer. If you see a veteran of our nation's armed forces, if you know somebody in your family, give them a call and say thank you. I heard already this morning from my mother-in-law who sent me a message early California time, and it touched my heart. Just knowing that we have loved ones who recognize our service, who care about it, and who care enough to go out and say thank you. So to the American people, if we want to keep on ensuring that the very best and brightest sign up for our military, the very best way to do it is to make sure that the veterans know that we are grateful to them. And so it's with great pride that I am introducing a man who is proud of our veterans, who fights every single day for the veterans, and who is proud to be the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Armed Forces, President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you, J.D. Thank you very much to our great Vice President. It was a good decision I made. This morning on these hallowed grounds where generations of American heroes rest in eternal glory, we gather to fulfill the sacred duty of every free man and woman. On Veterans Day, we honor those who have worn the uniform, who have borne the battle, who have stood to watch and whose ranks have formed the mighty wall of flesh and blood, bravery and devotion that has defended our freedom for 250 years. Today, to every veteran, we love our veterans, we say the words too often left unsaid. Thank you for your service. Thank you very much. And we want to also say thank you for carrying America's fate on your strong, very broad, and proud shoulders. Each of you has earned the respect and the gratitude of our entire nation. We love you, we salute you, and we will never forget what you have done to keep America safe, sovereign, and free. Thank you very much. And we're also honored to be joined by a great man. He will go down as a great man someday. Speaker Mike Johnson. Speaker. Wherever you may be, Speaker. We love you, Speaker. There he is, right there. Good. Got a good location. He always gets a good location. And congratulations to you and to John and to everybody on a very big victory. We're opening up our country. Should have never been closed. Should have never been closed. I want to thank Secretary Doug Collins, who's outstanding, just done a fantastic job for the veterans. We have a 92% approval rating. We took that up from 38% from a certain previous administration that we won't mention. Also, Secretary of War, we like the sound of that better than the other. Secretary Pete Hegseth. Pete, thank you very much. Thank you, Pete. Great job. Our great Attorney General, Pam Bondi. Pam, thank you very much. Thank you. Secretary Doug Burgum. Doug, thank you. Thank you very much for being here, Doug. The #1 energy person anywhere in the world, acknowledged. I was amazed that he took the job and he did it without hesitation. What he gave up, what Doug gave up, what all of them gave up, nobody would ever know. But Secretary Chris Wright, #1 anywhere in the world, acknowledged. And drill, baby, drill, Chris, right? Drill, baby, drill. The energy prices are way down, and they're going further. Secretary Linda McMahon, education, moving education back to the states, Linda, right? Getting it back to the states where it belongs. Secretary Lori Chavez DeReamer, thank you, Lori, very much. Director Russ Vogt, Director, thank you. What a good job he's doing, cutting, but fairly cutting. Director Tulsi Gabbard. Thank you, Director. Ambassador Jameson Greer, what a job he's done. We've taken in trillions of dollars in tariffs, and we want to keep it that way. It's been good for our country, I can tell you, including national security. General Dan Kane. General, thank you. He's a real general. And congratulations on wiping out the nuclear capability of Iran in about a matter of seconds once they got there. They traveled a total of 37 hours, but once they got there, they were very quick. And also to many other very distinguished guests. We have an amazing group of people. I'd like to name every one of you, but I think a lot of people would be upset. It's a little cold. The pages of American history are filled with the tales of titans, icons, innovators, and trailblazers who built this country into the greatest, most ambitious, and most prosperous nation the world has ever seen. And we brought it to new levels. I'll tell you, we were going in that direction for a period of time, but we've never been hotter than we are right now. This is the hottest country anywhere in the world. Yet every captain of industry, every pioneer of science, and every star whose brilliance has lit up the lights of Broadway all share one thing in common. They only had the chance to soar because the veterans had the courage to serve. They took care of those people. They took care of all the stars. The stars that you read about wouldn't be here without our veterans. Everything we have, everything our country has achieved has been purchased by the muscle, spine, and steel of the United States military. We owe it all to the fierce and noble men and women of the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, and the United States Marines. Here's a guy. Our service members, our own words, are the greatest possible tribute to their immortal valor. Shortly before the Battle of Bull Run, Major Sullivan Ballou of Rhode Island became a big name, didn't he? Wrote to his dear wife, Sarah. He said, "I know how great a debt we owe to those who went before us," he said. "And I'm willing, perfectly willing, darling, to lay down all my joys of this life to help maintain this government and to pay that debt." Just 1 week later, Major Ballou did just that. He gave his life to save our country. On the night before he jumped into the dark skies over Normandy on D-Day, Colonel Bull Wolverton knelt with his men in prayer. "Dear God," he said, "we ask only this, that if we die, we must die, and we as men would die without complaining, without pleading, and safe in the feeling that we have done our best for what we believed was right. We must do what is right." Colonel Wolverton, too, died for us so bravely in battle. Today, we remember with overwhelming gratitude the more than 1 million American service members who have made the supreme sacrifice and laid down their lives for the good old USA. Generation after generation, America's warriors have left behind the comforts of home and family to face violence, evil, and death so that our families could know joy, goodness, and peace. We honor them so strongly. Our heroes have lived through unthinkable nightmares so we could live the American dream. And the American dream is coming back again, stronger than ever before. And you'll see that as the next few years evolve. They have volunteered to give their last breaths to all of us so that we could breathe free. And today we know without any doubt in our hearts that after 2.5 centuries, America stands tall because America's veterans stood so strong. And soon our country will be stronger than ever before. The American veteran has forged a legacy of gallantry and daring without parallel in human history. In September 2009, Army Captain William Swenson was driving through the Afghan mountains when his convoy was ambushed by over 60 Taliban insurgents. He and his comrades were pinned down for hours without artillery or air support. A fellow soldier was shot in the chest, and Captain Swenson crossed an open field to aid his brother in arms. People said, "Don't do it, Captain, don't do it." He did it. When the terrorists closed in around them and demanded their surrender, Captain Swenson threw a grenade at the enemy and rallied his men to break their advance. He then carried the wounded soldiers hundreds of yards to a rescue helicopter before charging back 3 times, back and forth, into the fire to save the wounded and bring them home. Even after 7 hours of fighting, he refused to leave any man behind. Retired Lieutenant Colonel William Swenson is here with us in Arlington. And for his actions that day, he proudly wears the Congressional Medal of Honor. Colonel Swenson, thank you very much. Thank you very much, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. The ultimate honor. Thank you. Another person who shows the Medal of the American Veteran is Dale Stovall. As an Air Force helicopter pilot in Vietnam, Captain Stovall was assigned to rescue a downed American airman deep in hostile territory. Despite the extreme peril, Captain Stovall took off in his HH-53C helicopter and soon came under intense fire, forcing him to turn back. But the captain refused to abandon his mission. The next day, he willingly plunged back into the danger while taking fire from all directions. He didn't have a chance, he felt, but he said, "I got to do it." He rescued the downed American pilot who had been stranded on the ground for 23 days and brought him back home alive, completing the deepest rescue behind enemy lines in the entire Vietnam War. For this and 11 other harrowing rescues, he was a brave guy. Dale received the famous Air Force Cross and the Distinguished Flying Cross and 2 Silver Stars, making him the 4th most combat decorated Air Force Academy grad of all time. He retired as a brigadier general after 31 years of service. General Stovall, you are a legend. Please, thank you. General Stovall. Thank you very much. Thank you. You look good, General. You look good. I wish I looked that good. You look good. Thank you very much, General. America's warriors never quit, never surrender. They fight, 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 and they win, win, win. That's what we do. We win battles. As you know, today is not only Veterans Day, but it's my proclamation that we are now going to be saying and calling Victory Day for World War I. Victory Day. You know, I was recently at an event and I saw France was celebrating Victory Day, but we didn't. And I saw France was celebrating another Victory Day for World War II. And other countries were celebrating. They were all celebrating. We're the one that won the wars. And I said, from now on, we're going to say Victory Day for World War I and World War II. And we could do for plenty of other wars, but we'll start with those 2. Maybe someday somebody else will add a couple of more because we won a lot of good ones. But when I see other countries celebrating Victory Day, I watched it. I watched UK, I watched Russia. They were celebrating Victory Day, World War II. And I said, we got to have a Victory Day. Nobody even talked about it in our country. But from now on, we're going to be celebrating Victory Day for World War I, for World War II, and frankly, for everything else. Under the Trump administration, we're restoring the pride and the winning spirit of the United States military. That's why we have officially renamed the Department of Defense back to the original name, Department of War. And remember, we won World War I, we won World War II, we won everything in between, we won everything that came before, and then we brilliantly decided to change the name of this great thing that we all created together, and we became politically correct. We don't like being politically correct. So we're not going to be politically correct anymore. From now on, when we fight a war, we only fight for one reason, to win. We fight to win. Then under my leadership, we're also fighting for the great veterans who have always been there for us, and especially when we needed them and needed them most. In 9 months, the Trump administration has cut the backlog of VA benefit claims in half. That's a big achievement, and Doug is going to get it down to zero. During the Biden administration, the backlog exploded like we had never seen before, and I'm going to eliminate 100% of that backlog. We're moving at that pace, and already we've processed more than 3 million backlog claims, the most of any year in the history of the VA. We've added more than 1 million extra service hours across the VA centers, and we've opened 20 new facilities in 13 states, something that people said just not possible to do. We also have brought back VA choice and VA accountability, taken away by the Biden administration, so that when you have to wait online, you go out and you get yourself a doctor. We pay for the doctor if you have to wait. And the other thing is we fired thousands of people who didn't take care of our great veterans. They were sadists, they were sick people, they were thieves, they were everything you want to name, and we got rid of over 9,000 of them. And then when Biden came in, he hired them back, many of them, but we got rid of them. And I think we got rid of them permanently. We replaced them with people who love our veterans, not people who are sick people. We're also confronting the challenge of veterans' homelessness, and earlier this year I signed an order establishing the National Center for Warrior Independence to house up to 6,000 veterans in need, and we will not stop until we have ended the tragedy of homeless veterans once and for all. I'd see in New York where people that came into our country illegally, they came in illegally, would be put up in hotels, and veterans would be sitting on the sidewalk outside of that hotel where these other people are put in. And many of the people that came in were put in from prisons. They were murderers. They were drug dealers. They were people that we didn't want in our country. They were staying in hotels, luxury hotels, and our veterans were sitting on the sidewalks watching them go in. I said, that's never going to happen under this administration. I also signed the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act, because no veteran should be kicked out of their home for what they call a late payment. It's not happening. And I'm pleased to report that since January, the veterans' unemployment rate has fallen by more than 26%. That's amazing. Work hard on that. And I also want to give a very special thanks to all of the veteran service organizations that work so hard. They're all represented here today. But they work so hard on behalf of our great veterans, and one of the heroes who reminds us of why we fight for those who served in uniform is Army Major and West Point grad Jonathan Turnbull. In 2019, Jonathan was conducting an operation in Syria when a suicide bomber approached and detonated his vest, leaving Jonathan gravely wounded, so badly wounded, they thought he had no chance. The injuries were so severe, the doctors gave him, everybody, they just looked, they all cried. They knew him, they loved him, and they were just crying. They said, no chance. He was resuscitated 3 separate times and he underwent 22 surgeries, but he refused to give up. He wanted to live. He loved this country. He loved his family. He wanted to live. He was going through hell. I visited Jonathan at Walter Reed in 2020, remember it so well, and today I'm delighted to say that Jonathan is not only alive, he is here with us, back on his feet, and living a great life alongside his beautiful wife, Samantha, and their 3 incredible children. Jonathan, Samantha, please, God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. Where are you? There he is. There he is. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're a tough guy. You're a tough one. Nobody could have gone through what you went through. He's doing good, isn't he, huh, Samantha? Thank you very much, both. And in conclusion, from the very beginning of our country, our great American flag has always been shielded and protected by a special cast of citizens who has stepped forward to safeguard liberty's cause. When danger came, when duty called, when Almighty God asked, who had the will and the strength to defend the land of the free, each and every American veteran stood up and said, here I am, send me, here I am. They've come from every corner of this nation, from the cornfields of Iowa to the hills and valleys of California, from the steel towns of Pennsylvania to the vast plains of Texas, from the banks of the mighty Mississippi to the 5 boroughs of New York City. With selfless commitment and unyielding conviction, they made themselves America's ramparts and became the shield between our homeland and those who would do us harm. With everything they had, they did one thing above all else. They put America first. On the decks of destroyers, beneath the thunder of cannon fire, in the cockpits of our beautiful B-2 bombers. Aren't they beautiful now? We respect them so much. What a job they did. That in an instant completely obliterated Iran's nuclear capability, of which we have just ordered, I have to say, many more of the updated versions of that incredible piece of art. They defended the American Republic, dispensed American justice, crushed the enemies of freedom, and vanquished the forces of wickedness and evil. That's what we've been doing. Because of what every veteran has done today, the flame of liberty shines bright. The people of our nation sleep safe. The American dream surges forward, and our magnificent destiny stands more splendid and glorious than ever before. So I want to say thank you once again to every American veteran. You are very, very special people, and always in our heart. And thank you very much, and God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Distinguished guests, please stand and join the United States Army Band and Chorus in singing God Bless America, and remain standing as we retire the colors. Please place your right hand over your heart or render a hand salute.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans right before. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide before. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home,
Retire the colors. This concludes the 2025 National Veterans Day observance. Please remain at your seats for the departure of the official party. Thank you for joining us today to celebrate and honor all who served.
Well, there you go. That was a great speech there by President Trump. And you heard the people and the amphitheater there saying, "We love you, President Trump." And what a great speech that was by the Commander-in-Chief, the leader of the free world, Donald J. Trump. Let's now go to a brand new White House video all about our great military veterans.
Today on Veterans Day, we pause as a nation to honor the brave men and women who have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Forces. Their courage, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to our country have protected the freedoms we hold dear and shaped the very fabric of our nation. For me, this day carries deeply personal meaning. My father served as a naval officer in the Pacific during World War II aboard the USS Wren, a Fletcher-class destroyer. He didn't speak often about his service, but when he did, it was with quiet humility and deep respect for those who served alongside him. His example instilled in me a lifelong appreciation for the values of duty, honor, and service. Veterans Day is not just a date on the calendar, it's a call to remember, to reflect on the generations who answered the call, who stood watch in distant lands, and who came home forever changed. Today's a day to thank those who have served and to support the families who stand behind them. To every veteran, from every branch, in every era, we are grateful for you. Your service matters, your stories matter, and today we honor you.
There is a little-known line in the full version of the Star-Spangled Banner that praises those who stand between their loved home and the war's desolation. That's who we're honoring this Veterans Day. America's brave troops who have for centuries stood fast against war's desolation to protect their beloved home. From 1775 to 2025, from the snows of Valley Forge to the beaches of Normandy, our armed forces have weathered storms of bullets, bitter winters, and artillery bombardments. Through all of these crucibles and others, they have repeatedly proven their courage and commitment to our nation. They have endured horrors of war that the rest of us can never imagine. They went over there to Germany, Korea, Vietnam, and Iraq, so the rest of us wouldn't have to. They defended our homes and our allies against threats of communism, Nazism, and terrorism. They brought down tyrants and protected the ideals of freedom and independence that define the United States of America. So as we approach our country's 250th birthday next year, remember to thank a veteran for making it possible. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Across oceans, jungles, mountains, and deserts, and battlefields and enemy camps across the globe, our veterans fought and bled to vanquish our enemies and preserve America's birthright of freedom. Because of you, America is safe. Because of you, America is strong. Because of you, America is free. And because of you, America will forever remain the bravest, mightiest, and greatest nation on the face of the earth.
And as you've heard throughout this live stream broadcast, without our great United States military, we just wouldn't have a nation. We would not have our freedoms. So thank you again to every veteran and all active duty service members for what you do for us. Your mere presence is peace through strength for the United States of America. Thanks so much for watching RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Before we go, I have a brand new sponsor to tell you about, Venice AI. I just checked it out, the app, the website. This is the place to go. And you look at things like ChatGPT, it can actually now reference all of your past conversations. So the question is, do you feel comfortable knowing an AI platform has access to pretty much everything you type in there? So the solution is with what you see right there, venice.ai/RSBN. So it lets you use AI without, handing over your sensitive information. A lot of features on this. All you have to do is go there and download Venice AI on your app store, but also it's a beautiful display as well. So you can protect your privacy when you're talking about whatever, if you're asking a question or whatever. You just don't want your information out there. This is the great AI for you when it comes to Venice AI. So once again, we'll be talking a lot about Venice.ai throughout the week, and into the future, as they are our new sponsor here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Thanks so much for streaming in with us since about, I think it was 9:30 this morning. If you'd like to donate to Right Side Broadcasting Network, all you have to do is text RSBN to 801-801 or just go to rsbnetwork.com/RSBN. For all of us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll see you again soon right here on RSBN.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You can scan that QR code now, RSBN10. That is the code, easy to remember, for 10% off. This is ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, antibiotics that will save you and yours from bacterial and viral infections, NAD+, and much, much more. 200 essential medications and emergency medical kits, the meds you trust delivered to your door.